Press the big red button.
I've pressed the button.
She's
We're live.
pressed the big red button. We're live. Hey, everyone. Hope you're awesome. Welcome to Chat TGR. I'm Dan.
I'm Jake.
I'm Joe.
And we have got some stuff to talk about.
Yes, we do, sorry.
It's been a full-on week in the world of
stuff.
Pedally pedals.
Things.
And stuff.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. I need to get some sleep is what I need.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
Sleep's a wonderful
But
thing.
caffeine is carrying us forward, you know?
Unfortunately, I'm back chasing that dragon. I have that first coffee in the morning, and then I'm chasing that dragon all day.
It's fun, though.
Just one more, and it's not good. Caffeine has a half-life of 8 hours. So if you have a cup of coffee, you have in 8 hours' time, you've got half of that caffeine still in your system, and then it's like a nuclear reactor, an isotope, slowly diminishing half-life.
Yeah, so you keep topping it up. I'd love to know.
Yeah.
Consistency of our
That's why you
our
keep
blood.
topping it up.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Keep going.
I'm scared of my base level now.
Yeah.
Who do we have on Lizzie? Oh, of course, we have Lizzie.
Hello.
It's
We've got Matt Swanton.
Yo.
Cheers from Massachusetts. We've got Tony saying morning.
Yo,
Kay
yo,
Cole,
yo.
greetings all. Hope you're doing well.
Hi.
Scott Curry.
buddy.
We've got SWiz872. Hello from Australia.
Oh, lovely.
BV's in, said on air, loud and
Oh,
clear.
hello, BV.
BV.
You superstar.
We've got someone from Greenland on. We've got Robert saying happy Thursday, everyone. Lots of lovely people in the chat already.
Beautiful.
Hello,
Beautiful.
everyone.
Almost every continent.
Almost.
We get about.
Yeah.
We get about.
To get your brains going, I'm going to throw a question in that's
Yeah, go
already
on
been
then.
asked.
Oh, my.
So from Neil, any advice on how to lay cables along a board when you can't create custom lengths?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So
Over to you.
I
There's
would-
there's the coily method.
Yeah.
I would still say you want to start with the longest distance
Yeah.
first, because then you can still get some level of not too many overlaps. But you also, I personally just get creative all the way I run it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. So if you've got a long cable.
Dan, did you
Wow.
burp?
I did.
Yeah,
Wow.
if this is...
Sorry.
It's not okay.
That was pretty
I'm
bad.
just going to talk through
That
that.
was pretty bad.
If you've got your switching system here, your pedal here, and you've patch cables of this long, run them like this to the pedal.
I
Use
don't
the
care
length.
anymore. I don't
I'm
care
trying.
anymore.
I'm trying.
Sorry, that was like a
Trying to get you
sentence of
through
burp,
it.
I'm sorry.
No, so that's really interesting. That when you're doing your own board, and it's great, you can cut things to length. And one of the things, the reason we did our power supply thing, is that was a pet peeve of mine, having to coil power supply cables, especially if there's current going through them. I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
So having the cables neat in the little terminal block, snip it off, bang, great. And we've been doing that for over 20 years, and it's a fabulous solution. Audio is interesting because if you've got patch cables already made, you need to be creative.
But you want to try and avoid the tropes of like running them over power supplies and
Yeah,
all that, running next to MIDI and stuff. So
The one thing with running cables with power supplies, yes, in an ideal world, when you cross your power cable with an audio cable, you want to go at
90-degree angle,
no, it's not. No, it's called
perpendicular.
perpendicular, parallel perpendicular, and that's great. But with DC, it's not really a problem with audio cables. AC is where the problem lies.
Yeah, sorry, I was referring to like over the power supply.
Yes. Yeah.
Because
for
then there's
sure.
probably AC and all kinds of.
That absolutely. So AC is your mains cable. That's AC. The power coming in from the wall, AC. The power coming from your power supply to your pedals is DC, direct current. That's not. It doesn't have. It's not switching, going backwards and forwards like an AC, an alternating current does, creating the frequency. If you're in the US, it switches at 50 hertz. If you're in the UK, it switches at 60 hertz. and that's what that means. And that can create problems because it can reflect into the audio. So, but DC is generally not an audio unless, it's not a problem with the audio unless for some reason it starts shifting. Every time it shifts and reflects over into the audio, it sees that as a switch, as a change. So,
But generally, it's not.
generally it's not.
But it's a difficult one because it depends on how much extra cable we're talking about.
Yeah.
If it's only a little bit of extra cable, there's, like you were saying, you can sort of truncate it. But if it's loads of cable, then it.
I've got a
becomes an
good
issue.
one.
Go on.
Well, it's not a good one. It's a one.
Oh,
That's a massive piece of paper.
If you got a, with nothing on it. If you got a, hand me a pedal, please, sir. And do you have a patch lead there? Is there a patch lead? Lizzie, chuck a patch lead at my head with much force. Yeah, that's perfect. Go on then.
he took out my
Okay,
laptop.
so
No, I'm joking.
here's one thing that I do, because inevitably I err on the side of caution and make them a little bit too long.
Yeah.
Right? So if I've got this on my board and I have my patch cable coming in like this, right, to go to the switcher or to go wherever, and if I've made that too long, I will tuck that underneath itself and then run the cable
Yeah.
back there,
That's a good idea.
and that works great. And it does
a
help
good
tidy
idea.
things up.
Or, you can loop around the pedal the other way. If it's super long, you're going to hear, you could sort of route them around that way or do that to get rid of cable length.
Yeah.
Just stuff like that, really.
Yeah.
Use the cable length, make the path a little bit longer, because I think that looks tidier than having like a bunch of cable
Coiled.
tied up like that,
Nice. It's a
Yes.
cozy 7 minutes.
Yeah, there you go. Bam.
Awesome.
Flying through it, Daniel.
Any other questions?
From Will Kingston, what are we thinking of the Kemper? Mark II.
Mark II.
There's a Mark II.
Yeah, they announced the Mark II yesterday.
Is there that much different?
I haven't. Yeah,
I don't think it's.
it's.
It's all analog drive-through.
I.
Valves in it.
Yep.
They've put out a little teaser video.
old
It
man
doesn't
button
give
on it.
much. Yeah, it goes. All right, Daniel. No. Yeah, they've just. It looks like they've changed the knobs on it and the paintwork.
I don't know that it's a complete overhaul.
Okay. I wonder if they've upped the processing power or something.
Yes,
Yeah.
This
joking
has been
aside.
around for a long time.
Yeah, it's been
Joking
around
aside, I
forever.
think it is. I think it's
Yeah.
like a hardware update. They've made it more powerful. It can run more effects. It's quicker. I think it's lighter technically. I haven't really looked at it yet.
Man,
I think
can
it's
you
something.
imagine being in that market?
Yeah.
And you guys use this stuff all the time.
Yeah.
But who are the big players? You've got Kemper, you've got
Neural.
Fractal.
Line 6.
Yeah.
Line 6, yes, of course, and the Helix
stuff.
and all that stuff.
Which they've just had an anniversary. We probably should have
Yeah.
talked about that. It's either 10 years or maybe even 20 years of the Helix. I'm going to Google that.
Of the Helix?
Because they've had an anniversary.
yeah.
Let me check what it was.
Oh,
Those are the main players that
Okay.
I'm aware of.
but
You've
they-
got Tonex as well, haven't you?
Tonex is
Very true.
huge.
IK Multimeter.
IK Multimedia, the UAD Spark,
Yeah.
Yeah,
You've got
good shout. Yeah.
Fender with their
Yeah, Tone
yeah,
Master.
yeah. Thing,
Mate,
Tone Master.
Dan, you know more about these digital
I
emulations
get
than
sent
anyone.
everything. I just don't use it.
10th anniversary of the Helix.
That's
Wow.
wild. That's
Isn't
wild.
that wild? Time flies.
Yeah, man. Boy, what is okay?
My gut reaction quickly to the Kemper Mark II is I think considering how long the first one's been out is not that much of a leap forwards.
Right.
But then I don't think it's not the Kemper 2, it's the Kemper Mark II. I think it's them improving what they've already done. Does that make sense?
But isn't it the same thing?
So this is a bit of a harsh opinion, but I feel like it's a little bit like MXR bringing out the carbon copy. Was it the carbon copy 2?
Oh, the bright version.
Yes.
The one with the tap tempo, like 15 years too late.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's how I feel about
So it's a carbon
the
copy.
Kemper Mark II.
It's bigger. It's got tap tempo, and that's about it. And they released it like 10 years after the original, and I feel like Kemper have kind of done the same thing where they've improved processing power, but it's not a step.
But if they have improved processing power, that's a big deal.
Yeah, definitely. I haven't.
It's not something that you necessarily see.
Sure.
Or even here,
Yeah.
I guess. But if they've,
Yeah.
you know,
We'll feature it next week on our pedal roundup, and we'll do some digging and actually see on like the pedal.
have you guys used
player.
all the other stuff? Because
The-
you're on campers, right?
Yes, I've
Have you used the quad cortex?
Joe's partner, my bandmate Claire, uses a QC, and that's fairly recently, so I haven't played
Yeah.
with it too much.
And she was on a camper.
She was on a
Yeah.
camper
and
before.
went to a quad cortex.
She's gone to a quad cortex.
Okay.
She's much happier. The user interface, more than
Yeah.
anything, is so easy.
I agree. I
Okay.
think Neural have completely smashed
Yeah.
the UI on
but
it.
we haven't really tried many of the others because
No.
when you're happy, you don't necessarily want to try the others, you know?
Sure.
I think you had a mate that had a Fractal. I remember you playing with, and you remember
Yeah,
you
that
saying
was
you managed
back
to
in the
crash
early
it.
days.
Crash it.
That was like the original Fractal, and I managed to crash it in 10 minutes, and I was like, oh, I don't think they're ready to do fun things.
Okay.
And it literally came up with an error code, and you had to turn it off and turn it back on. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
got a
well-
1959 AC10. I plug
Okay,
into
Grandad,
it's got
back
a
to sleep.
switch.
Back to bed.
It's got a switch on it. Ah!
Aw.
Yeah.
Turn it up and it goes, grrr.
Aw.
Oh dear. Yes.
And
love
another thing.
I love learning.
Okay, time for bed. Come on.
I love learning from our elders.
Right. Okay. Let's get into pedal
Let's
news
get
because
into
it's been a week
Yeah.
It has been.
and
a
we
week.
have some discussions to have. Yes. So
Should we start with the mirror house, Mr.
So-
Bishop?
yeah, this looks amazing.
I'm gonna make.
electrical audio experiments. Just add it again.
I'm gonna play some rock and roll noise.
You ready for some rock and roll, Izzy?
Let's hope it works.
Lovely shot.
Yeah, all three of the clips are from Ambient Trash today.
Have you got the other clip?
Yeah, I've got. Don't you worry, I've got the collector of metal one as well.
It's very good.
Yeah.
He's on the ball.
Whatever that means.
All right, take us through it.
Cool.
So,
There's one more clip we'll show you
Yeah,
in a bit
yeah,
on
show us
this
the
pedal, but we'll.
so it's a modulation. Got 3 modes.
Right.
You've
Phaser,
got
flanger, chorus.
no. Grandad.
Phaser, flanger, vibrato.
Time has moved forward.
Okay.
You have an envelope control
Flanger.
of the delay time,
Yeah.
so you can get it to dive in pitch or raise in pitch,
Yep.
depending on your amplitude.
Just to explain that. So what that means is modulation. So when this going backwards and forwards. So let's think of a vibrato. When we play a note, and the vibrato makes the pitch go higher and lower. And how it does this is it's modulating a delay time. So if you grab your delay pedal and play a note, and then you go backwards and forwards on the delay time, and you'll hear your pitch go up and down. What Joe's saying is they've done, which is quite the thing now. When we had Chris Benson on, and he had the
florist.
the florist,
Oh yeah.
and it had that thing where it was
Yeah.
an envelope follower. So what that means is generally the delay time is controlled by an oscillator, and you can speed it up or slow it down. No, we get this right. Depending on the delay time and the speed, that gives you the speed, and then you have the depth, which gives you how deep that vibrato is. So normally run from an oscillator, but then you can incorporate an envelope follower, which follows the attack, and the attack creates a waveform, which then influences that delay time. So you can control that delay, but you hit it hard, it goes, and then it goes back into that stuff.
So this will go up to a semitone in pitch.
Okay.
The depth will go all the way up to a semitone on
Right.
the first 2 modes, which is this envelope mode, and then a flutter mode is more like a traditional LFO based
Okay.
chorus, but it's a random like slewed LFO. So the LFO randomly changes speed, but the edges of that are kind of smoothed off. So like the shallow water,
Yeah.
like
Okay.
Fairfield,
Yeah.
where it's not consistent, so you get this interesting sort of warpy change. But then you've got a third mode which you can detune, but you also have like an octave up, so you can do like a organizer, you know, the earthquaker kind of vibe.
Okay.
One of the coolest sounds I had is on this next clip, which is, you know, the Kevin Shields Jazz Master thing with the whammy. You can basically get that vibe out of it
Just by hitting it.
just by setting up in a certain way, so that when you hit the note, it drops in pitch, and then as the amplitude of your signal decreases, it will pull up back to unison. So we've got a clip to show that.
Okay.
People. Really bad.
No, we're not, because it didn't work.
Oh, it didn't work.
The visual's there, the sound's not.
Oh, okay.
I've got a
sound
theory
like-
which button I need to press, but I'm a bit
All right,
nervous.
should be AVF, the button. Got it?
Give it a go.
All right, here we go.
Let me know. It's not
Oh, okay.
The Kevin Shields sort
It's a great video. Great visual.
I hope it worked. Otherwise, we're all kind of sat here in silence.
working now.
Yay.
So,
Sorry,
I just thought
everyone.
That was a cool take. On
Very
modulation.
cool. I like it.
Yeah. Cool.
Great. Okay. Who are these guys?
So this is experimental audio. No, that's wrong. Electronic
audio
experiments.
experiments.
They also did the bass driver we talked about. That was like the trainer, the big monolith thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Where are they from?
Planet Earth,
Okay.
Canada, I think.
About. What's going on
I think they're in Canada.
Oh, he's got a lovely dog.
Are they Canada?
Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh, they're
Oh,
in
cool.
Massachusetts. Sure.
There they all are.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
Oh, yeah, well done, guys. That's fabulous.
Right. Next up, I think it'd be fun to talk about is Dr. No.
Doctor, no.
Dr. No doing his own skull transistors.
Hang on. That's not a thing.
That is a thing. These are the transistors.
Lizzie,
in the-
can you
in
see
his
that?
Pedals.
Yes, yeah.
That is, okay. Hang on.
They creep me out a little bit.
So
That's-
I wanted to know Dan's take on this because I don't know
Hang
how I
on,
feel about it.
no. Hang on. Is he making his own transistors,
That's
or
what
is he
he's saying.
taking transistors and dipping them into a mold?
That's what I want to know.
Yeah, we want to know that as well.
They are saying on their social medias that they have made these specifically for a new device.
Okay, so one thing about Dr. No, I think what he does is amazing.
Yeah.
And that head in a box device that he's created,
Yeah.
far out.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's man, it's just wild. So super creative. I want to know more about these transistors. I want to know what they are. Does it tell you what they are?
No, this is like the kind of initial teaser where he said we've custom made these transistors for a new fuzz pedal.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there's no more information on it. But I just thought it was super interesting that he's gone for such an aesthetic choice and then given no more details.
I can understand.
So-
No, I can't understand.
So
There
are they dips? Are they goops? Or are they custom made?
So, yeah, that's doing my head in.
It's that one that's
It's got
quite
A
intimidating.
little
All of
army,
them,
a
all of
little
them
army
there.
of heads.
Yeah.
It's like a tiny version of Easter Island.
I've got a very specific anecdote that I feel like you might remember. So when Slipknot did the album All Hope Is Gone,
Yes.
and they had those big masks,
Yeah.
This
very
gives
that.
energy.
So I want to know your thoughts.
Yeah, I want to know more about the transistors. I want to know because he has to legally. You need to know what they are and
Yeah.
stuff.
Maybe on the back. Maybe they've got printed on the back. I did a bunch of hunting.
Why is his Instagram private?
I don't know. It's strange,
You
isn't
have
it?
to be like invited to see his Instagram.
I mean, I've been invited. But have you
I've
been invited?
You
accepted.
Have you?
That's how we got the pictures.
Oh, man.
Have you not been
No,
invited?
of course not.
Daniel. Sort that out.
Nobody loves me. Nobody hates me. Think I'll go and eat worms.
Is it really like this? See, look, it gives me this is.
Oh, it does.
This was a Slipknot campaign.
No, it's not that. It's what's the dude on the tricycle?
Oh, you mean
the thing.
Saw.
Saw.
Yeah.
Paint
Saw.
those white
Yeah.
and put
Yeah.
little
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Saw. Yeah,
Oh.
Missed a trick there.
Lizzie's not into it. Lizzie's not vibing on.
It's not for me, no.
No.
No,
Yeah,
look, it's
Saw.
him. It's Saw.
It's that guy.
I want to play a game.
Want to play a game?
When I think of Saw, I just think about queuing at Thorpe Park for about 2 hours.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
And then it breaks down. You don't get on it anyway.
But yeah, I just thought that was an interesting development in the world of
Yeah,
effects
very
pedals.
cool.
This is a good example of how far some people are willing to take it.
Yeah,
We're going to make our own transistors. There's a million different sorts, but none of them
Good enough for me.
do exactly what we want. What do we want to do with them? Oh, we just want them to fail.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
Basically.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We want to push them to a point where they distort.
Yeah.
Oh, and none of this. Oh, they'll all do that, but none of them do it in exactly the same way that we want.
No. So that's
It's
the big
amazing.
that's
Yeah,
the big question.
unreal.
Are they stock transistors that have been modified, or are they actually custom made by a company specifically
I'm trying
for?
to think who these guys are in America. Is that right?
Dr. No.
I
I'm
think
trying
so.
to think
I think they
if
are.
there's.
Because
I just don't know a component manufacturer in America that could do. Well,
That's-
I don't know a component manufacturer in America.
that's what I mean. So the length you would need to go to create that are pretty expansive, right?
Yeah,
That's pretty
for
insane.
a small run. He's not making millions of them.
No.
Not going to turn up next week in your remote control. Ah!
Changing your batteries.
Yeah,
That Saw bloke is back.
Yeah. Want to play a game.
can't get it off the telly. Okay.
Cool.
Amazing. That's amazing.
Next up, the notorious rabbit octave fuzz. Now this thing is
Oh, that
just
looks
an
fantastic.
absolute ripping octave fuzz. I mean,
AMC are one of my favourite companies of the moment.
give the people some riffs, shall we? Have some riffs.
Just to say, Dr. No is Dutch.
Oh, it all makes sense. It all makes sense. It's that thing from Goldfinger. Two things I hate: racism and the Dutch. Oh boy, what's in this? That's a different offset. He's got wide range humbucker.
Oh, he's got
Range.
Oh, okay. He's got range in his offsets.
Honestly, some of the best.
Okay. Give me the names of some bands that would be in that genre.
The most obvious octave fuzz is Queens of the Stone Age.
Yeah.
Ah, yes, of course.
Yeah.
He uses that all the time, doesn't he? Well, obviously, Octave Fuzz, you think of Hendrix, but I'm
Yeah.
thinking more of the heavy ambient
Yeah,
type
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But Queens, definitely.
Queens. Okay.
That's where I tend to go. Like Queen's Jack White, kind
Yeah.
of. That's where my head goes.
Okay. Yeah. Soundgarden, but that's back in ancient old man times. But they had some great octave heavy
Yeah.
fuzz sounds. Kim Tao, man. Far out.
Yeah, what a player.
Cool.
Yeah, but this is just a super gnarly octave fuzz. It just sounds wicked. The octave is super prominent, which I like. It's not really getting lost, or some octave circuits sound great if you're on the neck pickup with the tone rolled off around the 12th fret. Whereas this thing is just slamming all across the
Yeah.
neck. Whenever that
That's
chap
always
is
the
riffing,
thing.
it's just super pronounced, which I love.
Can you please bring up the Shinei the duo fuzz?
Sure.
Grab a picture of that. So now the reason I want you to have a look at this is that, yeah, there you go. So whip up there, yeah.
So cool.
So that the people see that.
Not the reverb listed. I'm not trying to sell it to you. I want the picture.
We can see it small.
Okay.
You can see it?
Yeah.
You got
Okay,
it.
all right. So this was the first fuzz I ever heard that did that. That you didn't need, and like I've always liked the sound of Octave fuzz. Mick on an Octave fuzz, like the new, so TPS have hooked up with Mythos.
Yeah.
To do the Octave fuzz boost. Man, Mick on an Octave fuzz is Doyle Bramall.
Yeah,
You know, it's just awesome. But that the duo fuzz does the thing where it's octaves all over the neck.
Yeah.
Epic.
You can just play power chords and you goes, "Wah," and then the octaves all start coming through. It's fabulous. So when I think of that sort of sound, the super fuzz, you know, all that Japanese octave heavy fuzz.
Yeah.
And a lot of like doom metal is all on super fuzzes,
Right.
just modified super fuzzes,
Yeah.
essentially.
I was funny. I played it on a couple of tracks on the old Tin Spirit stuff, and what it does underneath, it's a very different thing. So if you think of fuzz underneath a vocal or whatever, Big Muff is really great for that because it sort of carves out a space for the vocal to sit. That does something similar, but in a much nastier way.
Yeah. It looks super compressed, but
It's a harmonics flying
Yeah,
everywhere, but
but
there's still
they're not-
there's still a little slice.
yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. And
Okay.
it's by MC, so you know it's going to be good.
Awesome. Oh, BV's just said yes, Dr. No's in the Netherlands. Thank you, buddy. Cool. Okay, so
We have one more pedal. as
one
well.
more
One
pedal.
more pedal.
All right, let's do it.
So this is Nostalgia by, I can't remember, how do you pronounce the
I want to say
company
Walrus
name?
Audio. It looks
It's
like
not.
It's got that energy, right? No,
It's,
it's Lichtenstein Audio.
I keep, in my head, I keep
rolls
thinking,
off the tongue.
I keep thinking Liechtenstein, but it's not Liechtenstein.
What is it? There's like three dyslexics trying to read there.
For
Lizzie, what's it called?
Lizzie's also
I'm also
dyslexic.
dyslexic.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
No hurry.
Yeah.
Light arm audio.
man.
Anyway, it's
Yeah.
another modulation pedal, but it's from a different angle. That's really it's
Okay.
kind of interesting. So it's got nearly every conceivable waveform that
Right.
you would want. So sine wave, which is very smooth, triangle, square, sawtooth, and then it's got like a slewed square,
Oh, yeah.
and then a slewed random as well. The thing that's really cool about it is they've added.
How are they generating the waveform?
I think they're doing that digitally,
Okay.
and because it's like hybrid, it's digital and analog in the
Okay.
signal path.
Yep.
It's got like almost an FV1 kind of sound to it.
Yeah, but the thing that's really cool about it is they've got this. I think they call it fidelity.
Yeah.
And basically, they're abusing a transistor to act like a filter, but it doesn't do it in the best way. So it adds like a grainy, lo-fi, pseudo bandpass thing to the signal, which makes it like interestingly lo-fi, but not like a digital emulation. It's actually like almost like a mistuned circuit, slightly
interesting.
malfunctioning. So you can go from super pristine to really just gnarly and kind of broken apart and muffled and kind of grim
Okay.
using an analog circuit rather than emulation.
Is there a
just
video
cool,
of it?
Yes.
Cool
Let's
vibe.
have a look.
It's ambient trash again, baby.
It's prolific. Another offset. It's Goldfields.
Yeah, it's the harmony silhouette.
That's cool. It does have. Put that next to like an ARP 87.
Yeah, it definitely got that energy.
Yeah.
LFO will go from 40 milliseconds to 20 seconds
What?
cycle time.
Okay.
So it'll go into kind of ring mod AM modulation all the way to
40
Unbel-
milliseconds.
unbelievably slow.
Okay. I don't know if 40 milliseconds is quite fast enough to
They say near ring mod style modulation.
Okay, because you put it on a squarish way
Yeah.
and get up there, yeah. Yeah, great. On the Red Wing, because Red Wing goes to like 1 millisecond. And the ring mod stuff you can get, and you hear everything folding in on itself. It's not, unless you've got a difference between a tremolo and a true ring mod. There's no fundamental in a true ring mod.
AM amplitude modulation versus frequency modulation.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, very cool. Very cool.
There you go. That concludes pedal news.
Again, we were talking about this earlier.
Beep, 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 beep. Pedal news. That's what we need. We need
A
we
jingle.
need the three of us. We need to record that.
Yeah.
Let's do it now for the podcast, and then I'll edit it out and I'll put it in so that Lizzie can hit a button next week and go pedal. You're right. You ready?
Yeah.
Right. Beep, 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 beep. Pedal news. All right. Perfect.
That's the one. One take.
Nailed it in
Done.
one.
One take.
Now, professionals, Lizzie. You're dealing with professionals.
Yeah, that was great.
How crazy is it that every week we have like a bunch of pedals that have been released?
It's never
Like if you think
ending.
about an industry,
Yeah.
how insane is it that there is that many people
Okay.
being so creative?
Yeah. Oh man, alive. Okay. It is so interesting because I think the pedal industry is a really great snapshot of you've got everything from people working from their garage, just making ones off, right through to
Corporations.
all producing. Everyone's, I don't want to say everyone's fighting for your dollar. Some are. Some guys are just, everyone wants to, actually, no, let's reframe that. Everyone, it's great to be creative, but at the end of the day, they want people to use them.
Yeah.
It's not even necessarily about sales, but it's if you've done something that you really believe in and you know that people can either connect to it creatively, you want to get it out in the hands of people, you know. And I think for these, one of the great things about where we are with modern technology is that you can create a demo like this and really showcase what this looks like and what it sounds like, and people, you can get it out to people. Same thing with bands, I think.
Yeah.
It's that we romanticize what it was like in the
Internet.
yeah, what was the first digital downloading platform that
Oh, LimeWire.
no
Was that on the first
what's
one?
the one, the guy that went to Facebook,
MySpace.
no,
Napster.
Napster, MySpace.
There was music on MySpace.
Okay, so
Nailed that.
but if we think
tried.
of pre-Napster days where if you like music, you go and you buy a CD.
Yeah.
Because you bought the CD, you want to listen to the whole thing.
Yeah.
Now we're consuming it in seconds.
Yeah.
Right?
You hear two singles, and then I guess as an artist, you hope people take the whole record. But if they just go, well, I like the three singles I've heard, then what's next? You know, I think everything, you're right. I think stuff is almost taken out of context.
Yeah. But the one thing about what we can do now is like, I think if we go back 20 years, you can find an audience now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It does mean you have to wear a lot of hats.
Yeah.
You can't just be an artist now. You've got to be a content creator. You've got to be an engineer. You know, you've got to be able to do all this stuff. You've got to be
Social media manager, I think it's a big one nowadays.
well, absolutely. You've also got to be an accountant.
Yeah.
You know, merch, all that stuff. However, like 20 years ago, if I think of the trouble that we had when we first started in 2004, getting the gig rig out in front of people, it was new. No one had seen anything like it before. Early
You were
days of
9,
the
right?
internet.
Try and work out. You were 9, right?
And what? Yeah.
Oh, stop
2004.
it.
Yeah, I was 9 in
Yeah, you were 9.
2004.
But as YouTube and all this sort of stuff progressed, it gave us an opportunity to get our stuff out in front of people.
Yeah.
Gig rig, we have a handful of retailers. If we had to rely on retailers, we just don't make enough margin. We only have retailers in areas that we wouldn't be otherwise. But anyway, I think that is one. I like things moving forward. I like
Totally,
things
yeah.
staying, and I think that's one really cool thing about these small builders. I think a really great example is when we like Reeves, the Reeves pedal, Marcus Reeves.
Oh,
And I just saw a picture on Instagram and I just went, that is amazing. Shared it. No, I saw it because, let me get this right. Brian Wampler shared it and I saw it and I shared it. Next thing you know, they've got orders and
honestly, if you haven't checked out Reeves pedals,
they're so good.
just go
Yeah.
and check them
They're
out.
so good. Actually, the Daughter Board series.
Yeah.
So him and Izzy.
Yeah.
That fuzz is the first fuzz ever to knock mixed blue
Which
fuzz
is
off his board.
unbelievable.
Facet. Is that what it's called?
I think
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah.
The
Fawcett?
Fawcett. Makes
Fawcett.
sense, yeah.
Fawcett.
Fawcett.
That'll do. Yeah. So,
Sick.
however, that had to happen to get in Mick's hands for him to try it out.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's such an interesting industry because you go from that, and then you've got TC Electronic,
Yeah.
who own a small city in China, pushing all this stuff out, and they're still creating. Want you to put guitar into it.
Yeah.
It's an amazing industry. There's little things like that. And then, here we are. We didn't make pedals.
Yeah.
We just make something that you plug all your pedals into and power your pedals and put your pedals on.
The nichest of the niche.
It is fun explaining what I do for a living to people that don't understand what pedals are.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
pedal
All right.
news.
So there we go. So, right. How do we get into this? I saw the video that Josh at JHS was releasing another Not-A, right? So last year was 2023. They released the Not-A-Clon,
Yes, sir.
and as you can guess, as you know by now, it was a massive success.
Did you
And
do
they
one?
sound great.
Did you do one?
No.
No.
Okay. Why?
I was just wondering if he sent you one.
Why didn't? No. He doesn't. Didn't send us anything. It's very interesting with TPS. We don't automatically get sent stuff. We have to ask for it, because I don't know. People are a bit trepidatious sometimes about sending us stuff because we're not a demo show.
Yeah.
We just play through and make noises and just have a laugh. But if we play through something and we don't like it, we never say, but it's
Yeah.
always very obvious. But I like Josh's stuff. I thought the towers of fuzz, whatever, the wedge shaped fuzz series he did.
Oh, yeah.
What are they called? The something of the icons of fuzz, whatever they are.
Yeah.
That sounded great.
Yeah.
Really great. And Josh, his original delay, the Pink Panther, was wonderful. And of course, he's done a bunch of stuff. I used the Angry Charlie for a long time. As great stuff. So okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listening.
Good.
And equally try not to be distracted by the squeaking that's going over there.
Creaky door.
It's really windy here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Creaky door.
Yeah, so anyway, right.
Creaky. Yeah.
Josh. Oh, man. I've known Josh for a long time. So before JHS was the JHS that we know today, we had him on the show a couple of times. One of our most viewed shows is when Josh came over and we did the history of distortion.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I remember that one.
Great. And he's such a clever guy. He is so passionate about effects. He did a flippin' musical, Pedals the Musical, right?
Yeah.
That's how passionate
So
he is.
Liz is just like sat up when you said musical.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Right. So for what happened was Josh released another build kit, and I'm sure you've all seen this by now, called the NotADumble. And the Dumble thing, like for me, the clone thing, the clone thing and the Dumble thing, it's just done. And it's great, and if you're into that thing, it's brilliant. Having played a real Dumble, can tell you right now, so far away from what most people think a Dumble sounds like.
If only we'd had that chance.
You know.
Yeah, I'd love to know what that experience would have
Oh,
been
we
like.
had it
Daniel.
here, didn't we?
Yeah, and you forgot the power cord.
Just to recap, we've told you this story before, but Dan said that he had Robin Ford's The Dumble at home, and I was like, "Oh man, can you bring it in?" He was like, "I'll bring it in." Pulls up.
Legends of Fuzz, by the way. The Legends of Fuzz. Thanks, Beef.
He brings it in. He's like, "Boys, I've got Robin's Dumble in the car. Can you give us a hand getting it out?" We unload it. We've got it in the corner, ready to rock. I've got my guitar out of the case, and then Dan's going through his bag, "Oh man, I've forgot the transformer, the US to UK transformer, so we couldn't plug it in because you had to take it to Robin immediately."
So we got to look at it.
So you effectively flew us to Lapland. You're like, "We're going to meet Santa." Took us off the plane. You're like, "Oh, boys, I didn't get a ticket."
Santa.
Back on the plane.
Santa's drunk.
Yeah.
You need to
Gone back on the plane.
Yeah.
Back to Heathrow we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
So we looked at one anyway.
Yeah. But I'll never forget that experience. And so anyway,
Yeah.
I don't want to get too much into it, but people are fascinated. And one thing that Josh he's very passionate about it. He's also a marketing genius. Genius. No question. But why is he a genius? I think the way he's so knowledgeable, and he just loves pedals so much. And when I could do that pedal show and this, and because I'm not really, we can look at all the pedals because I'm not competing with anyone. Josh would come and go, "This is great," never talk about his stuff. Well, really. And it was really interesting to see someone who's pushing all these other brands. So it's so clever.
Yeah, that's cool.
But is it clever? I just think he's so passionate about it.
Yeah.
And I've known Josh a long time, and he's for real, right? It's not a marketing ploy. So he releases the NotADumble, and it's great. I think, I'm not sure, someone can correct me, but I think that the drive side of the NotADumble is based on, Josh says it's based on a 90s drive that's based around a fuzz, so I think it's like a Zen drive. I don't know for sure. But, so that's the drive channel, and then another channel, which is the clean side.
Yeah.
And this is where it gets wild. So, Josh is hanging out with John Mayer, as you do,
Just hanging out.
and John gives him a couple of pedals to clone that he uses, that he wants to have versions of on his board. So Lizzie, if we go to the first image, we'll see the NotADumble,
Yeah.
right? So that's what the pedal looks like, and you see it has two channels, clean channel and an overdrive channel. It has one foot switch, and one thing that Josh loves seeing people do is mod his pedals so that, he's released a thing of how to put a second foot switch in, so you don't have to use the little toggle switch. You can put a second switch in it and do it, which kind of seems like the most obvious mod to do. But then what Josh wanted to do, if we go to the next image, I think hopefully this is the image of the two pedals. And these are the two pedals that John Mayer gave to Josh to clone for him, to reverse engineer.
Yeah.
And
remember this screen is lagging.
oh, okay, yeah. So
my
here we go.
laptop's
So
to
here we
the
go.
side and
Right. So these are the
there
two.
you go.
These are the two pedals, right, on the left. You'll see a box later,
Yeah.
and then you've got the
It's the BBC.
BBC one.
Yeah.
Right. So a box later has an effects loop in it, and the BBC one doesn't. The BBC one is a FET driven drive. A box later is an op amp driven thing. They do vaguely the same job, but you can hear a difference in them. To me, the BBC one sounds a little bit fatter, which I like, but you can thin that out by you got an input control, which controls the input, but also the impedance, and then you got an output control. So what happens was Josh has a team, because they're a big deal,
Yeah.
right? I don't know how many NotADumbles they've sold, but
NotADumble.
no, I'm talking about the NotADumbles
All right,
to
sure.
start with. Like when they did the Legends of Fuzz series, and I mean, they just kept going up and up and up the
Yeah.
level. They're over 500,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel now because they make great content. Josh said that the company doubled in size really quickly. That's a lot to deal with.
That's crazy.
And his chief designer at the time, a guy called Cliff Smith, passed away. And that was in the middle of doing all this work. What happened was John Mayer gave him two pedals, and it's interesting because Josh doesn't remember or barely remembers getting the BBC one. And they reverse engineered both of them, and he made two pedals for Josh. He only remembers making one. The reverse engineering a box later one, but the BBC one was also made. When it came time to put the clean channel into the Dumble, the wrong one went in, right? The BBC one went in instead of the box later. So this is what's really interesting. What's that?
That's just an advert, bud.
Oh, okay. So here's what's really
I ain't
interesting.
paying for YouTube Premium. No, sir.
There was an engineer on one of the forums, because Josh was saying you can mod it and do it like this, and here's the schematic or whatever. And the engineer's going, well, this pedal, this circuit doesn't look anything like that, box later one. And Josh was like, oh, hang on. And he went back through his notes and then found
Oh dear.
the email from his old designer. Josh had asked him to be able to mod the pedal with the TRS loop, like the box later, so that you can use it as to send out to your effects and then come back and much like you do on a reverb tank, you send the signal in and you recover it later. He started looking through his notes and he sent an email off to his designer, who came back and says, yeah, this circuit doesn't have the ability to have the loop because there's no input for it. So he starts trying a bit further and realizes that the pedal that he got sent to approve, he looked at it and on it said BBC One for approval from Josh. So this is what I just thought we spent the last 10 minutes discussing. This is why I've got so much respect for Josh. The first thing he did was let everyone know.
Yeah.
He put his hand up and said, I've made a mistake. Now, what was the mistake? He took one unbelievably rare Dumble circuit and confused it with a second, very similar, unbelievably rare Dumble circuit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, you can understand how that mistake is made.
Mm-hmm. Especially with this many years as well. It's not like it was last week.
No, exactly. And with, so I think this is a really good example of someone doing this properly.
Mm-hmm.
Someone saying, I've made a mistake. Hey, everyone, I want you all to know I've made a mistake.
Yeah.
Now, there are lots of people who've been, I say lots of people, there are people online who love having a go at Josh.
Yeah, totally. Look.
Yep.
He's just, he is the king of the pedal nerds. And he's just, some people love having a pop at him. And I think the reason, this is just my 2 cents, is because he's built a really successful company. And you think about, they released 7,500. He had enough components to build 15,000, right? If they're selling at $100 each, that's serious money.
Yeah.
Right?
That's crazy.
Serious money. So I think that automatically gets people's, hairs on the back of the neck stand up a bit. But Josh just put his hand up and goes, look, okay, I've stuffed this up. We may or may not release another version with the correct one.
Yeah.
But of course, everyone wants this now.
Yeah, of course.
So I think in a way, he's a victim of his own success. He goes on and says, I apologize. I've made a mistake. This is not what it was meant to be. And everyone goes, terrible. I'll have 7.
Yeah.
It's like, he's saying, no, I've made a mistake. I'm apologizing. That's not what I'm not here to, I'm not trying to market. I truly believe he's not trying to market that.
Yeah.
No.
But
He's just trying to be
everyone's
truthful.
going, it's now become the fact that we're sitting here talking about it for the last half hour, whatever.
Case in point. Yeah.
It's like,
crazy.
it's like everyone now knows about it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get one just so that I've got one. I'm not going to build it. I just want to say,
It's like
Because we're all pedal
like
nerds.
a misprint Lego
Yeah.
figure
Yeah.
or something,
Exactly.
Pokemon
Completely.
card.
Like the mushroom cloud.
the mushroom
Yeah.
cloud. The muffin man. Okay.
I remember seeing that listed for sale, when he changed to the Fallout Cloud and seeing it listed as like pre-lawsuit Mushroom Cloud. And I was
Pre-lawsuit.
like,
Genius,
Thorpe's,
isn't it?
I was like, wow, Thorpe's big time when his
Completely.
pedals are described as pre-lawsuit.
But it is that, like, then it becomes that mythos, doesn't
Yeah,
it? Of-
exactly.
of-
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
We have got quite a lot of questions.
Yes,
and
please do.
We've only got 6 minutes.
All right, let's go. Let's
quick
wrap-
fire round.
Right.
Go, 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 go.
Okay. So,
Just to say, we will be going through checking the comments and stuff, and I do every day. And I would love to hear your opinion
they're in there, Dan.
on this. Okay, so what are
Just go.
people saying?
Zombie Pedal is not thinking it was a mistake very much.
Part of the
Knew his
marketing ploy.
loyal fans would buy too. So even if there were returns, he would not lose.
Okay.
Interesting.
So yeah, there's a mixture. People thinking it was a marketing ploy. Other people saying, why would he own it if that was what
Yeah.
it was?
And I think because he's so good at marketing, that I think, but the idea that he would purposefully take
the wrong.
the wrong Dumble circuit,
Yeah.
and go, I know what'll be great. I'll put this Dumble circuit in instead of this Dumble circuit in. Then we'll sell half of them. Then I'll come back and go, oh, sorry, everyone, I've made a mistake.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It doesn't. I
in
just,
my opinion,
yeah,
I agree.
but
yeah.
I think if he wasn't so good at marketing, I don't think it would be people would be having this because he is so good. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, could it? It's like in my head, I cannot see a way it could possibly be.
no.
Yeah. Okay. More.
Okay.
More.
Right,
Let's
questions.
go, Lizzie.
Go.
From Nimrod, I have multiple pedals with expression out, MIDI and non-MIDI. How can I connect them to an expression pedal using the G3S? Would I need separate expression pedals for MIDI/non-MIDI?
You're going to go with MIDI connections, maybe a MIDI splitter if they don't have MIDI outs, and then you're going to use Old Blood Noise MTET, which converts MIDI back into expression.
Yeah. Old Blood Noise MTET. It's a genius device. Do we still have any in stock?
We're out.
No, out of stock. Okay. I love Old Blood Noise. Amazing company. The MTET is genius because you can send it a MIDI signal and it will control your non-MIDI expression pedals. So you have your expression pedal going into G3, send the MIDI out into that, and then control everything.
Yep.
Genius.
Yeah.
That's how
One
you do
down.
that. Okay.
Go. Next.
Come on, Lizzie.
From Richard, I have a QMX8 and when I turn it on there seems to be a power surge when all the pedals are turned on. Is there a significant power surge or is this just the usual when turning on pedals?
Sorry, say that again. Is it power surge?
There seems to be a power surge when all the pedals turn on.
Can you send me a video to support@thegigwig.com? Said it slowly. Just because I'm not 100% understanding what you're meaning by power surge.
QMXs are just
Yeah.
Yeah,
steady
QMX
and
is, yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
there's
So
no
we'll take a look at
startup
that.
current needed or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just
But it
does
depends. I
what
mean, I
it
don't know
does.
what supply you're using, but generally, your supply there'll be a big smoothing capacitor in that, and when you start it up, I mean, it depends on a lot of things. But yeah, send us an email and we'll go through it.
And Kim has said, can you tell me a little bit about the green Benson amp in the back? I'm looking to buy one, but can't decide on which one to go for. I like an amp with a bit of hair in it.
Yeah. So this is the bell ringer, and we featured it when Chris was on the show, and it's two EL34s. I think the cathode biased. It's like astonishing reverb, and it's like the antithesis of a deluxe reverb.
Sure.
You can get those sounds out of it, but it has the hair. It's really, really killer amp.
It bites.
Yeah, they're really amazing. I'm a big fan of everything that Chris does. I think he's got some of the best ears for a designer.
Yeah, I agree.
Amazing. That's Chris Benson from Benson pedals and audio and amps and stuff.
Thank
All
you.
right.
And is it possible to set up a button on GigRig to cycle through presets on a pedal, like send PC1, PC2, PC3, PC4, then back to PC1?
That's an interesting idea. How would you do it?
We've talked about adding this
Yeah.
function. We haven't added it just yet, because you've got the MIDI sequencer within the
Tap
G3,
through the sequence.
so that you could tap through each sequential state that you program in.
So you'd
Well,
press.
that's we got to get that done.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get that done.
Oh, no.
No. Hang on. It's because of the MIDI sequencer. We've already got tap tempo, right?
Yeah.
So that's not a massive
Yeah.
deal to do that.
Yeah.
He says.
Because then you could
He says.
have like a one foot switch that has like a whole bank of presets that you cycle through.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, we'll get on it. That's a great idea.
And just one last one from Peter. Any news on the web editor?
We're working on it, but Dan keeps adding features like stepping through the sequence. No, I'm joking. we are working on it.
Yeah,
It's just,
there's a software update that's going to be coming out soon. Just does a couple of little things that I've wanted to see. But the web editor is
in progress.
it is honestly the software guy's working on it, and it's aging him considerably. But it's going to be great. It's really, really cool.
The second there's news, we will let you know.
We'll
we
let you know.
promise.
Yeah.
Can I just sneak one more in? Because,
Yes.
sorry, I didn't mean to miss this, Simon. He's just commented. He asked last week as well. What's your thoughts on Boss selling plugins of their 8 most famous pedals on a monthly basis?
I think it's just
Sign of the times.
it's a really
literally.
done thing. You know, all the big plug-in companies
Yeah.
are doing subscription
JHS
things.
is selling plugins. He's
Yeah.
selling plugins of his amps and stuff as well.
Yeah.
You've got
And if
two
it's on
ways
it-
of,
Yeah.
you know, you either just turn your back to it or you embrace it, right?
Yeah, I think the monthly thing is the point of contention, because the idea is that you buy said thing and then that's said thing forever.
Yep.
So I think that's the point of contention for me.
Yeah. Okay.
I think a lot
Is
of
it-
plugins are monthly
Yeah.
though, aren't
Yeah,
they?
yeah.
I think the idea is you could rent it get it for a month,
Yeah.
finish the
Oh,
project
okay.
you're doing that you needed
Yeah.
Yeah.
a metal zone, cancel the
I think it's
subscription,
great.
you're not using it.
I think it's
Okay.
great.
Yeah.
So, thank you all so much for watching. Again, any questions, please let us know. And I'm speaking now directly to anyone who's got to the end of this live stream. I am looking for 6 volunteers to help with something. It's a project that I've been working on.
Oh,
And so you'll need a GigRig account. So you'll need to be able to log in to the GigRig shop. And as long as you've got that, I just need 6 people who are fans of GigRig and want to help out. So just email support at the GigRig, and then and I'll get back to you, and we'll let you know as soon as we have our first 6. But yeah, it's just a little project. But I need some other eyeballs
yeah,
on
I
this.
agree.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, everyone. Appreciate you hanging out. I'm really looking forward to reading these comments.
There's
Lots.
yeah,
It's
there's-
kicking off.
Oh, see,
yeah.
it's so
It's
interesting.
really divisive.
Yep. Yep. Oh, so
Play nice
Yeah.
people as well, please.
yeah.
Comment.
And
Play nice.
I'm not good. Do we need T-shirts to say "I stand with Josh"? I just think because here's my 2 cents, and we'll go after this. I promise. I've known Josh a long time, and I picked him up from the airport when he flew out to the UK. Took him down. We had a pint at the Eagle and Child in Oxford because he's a massive Tolkien fan.
Wicked.
And he is just so passionate about music and guitar and the sounds people make. We've never talked about business. That's never been part of our conversation. It's always been Mick. Okay, here's one. Mick and I had an idea years ago. We were going to hire a little boxy looking car and paint it up to look like a metal zone and drive it across the states, right? And go to like pedal safari.
Amazing.
And go to these places where the Fuzz Face is born and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Josh must have texted me at least a couple of times a month for 6 months after that going, how's this project going?
When are we doing it?
I really think this. He wasn't going to be involved. He just loved the idea
Yeah,
of
that's
it.
so cool.
It's like, and I can hook you up with loads of guys, but this is amazing.
Oh, that's sick.
So
yeah.
So we're going to start a
really
GoFundMe
think-
to get that off the
I
ground.
really think that his heart is in the right place.
Yeah,
and I just
yeah,
think
I
this
think
is one of those,
Yeah.
Don't hate on someone for being successful.
Yeah.
I
concur.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks
Cool.
everyone.
Thank you.
Lots of love, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
That was fun.
That was fun. Did not
Is he bet?
go to toilet before that,
Yeah.
so